Israel plans to drag the United States into another war, as it was revealed that Israel plans to launch an attack on Iran soon. I hope MAGA is ready to fight and die for Israel. Benjamin Netanyahu is reportedly frustrated with Donald Trump negotiating with Iran and plan on attacking Iran because he claims they are close to developing a nuclear weapon. Benjamin Netanyahu and Western neocons have been claiming that Iran is close to building the bomb for the last 25 years now.
The two nations that are vying, competing with each other, who will be the first to achieve nuclear weapons, is Iraq and Iran. And Iran, by the way, is also outpacing Iraq in the development of ballistic missile systems that they hope will reach the eastern seaboard of the United States within 15 years. Now the question is, what's your next step? Knowing that three of these nations are developing nuclear weapons. This is not a hypothesis. It is fact. Iraq, Iran, and Libya are racing to develop nuclear weapons.
And here we go once again. Israel dragging us into another war. Because if you think Israel can defeat Iran on its own, I want what you're smoking. Because Iran has advanced weaponry 10 times the population of Israel, and they are a massive country. Iran will wipe Tel Aviv off the map, and Israel knows it. They plan on having Americans sacrifice their life for their vision of a greater Israel. And even then, what is the United States going to do? This isn't Iraq. The United States lost to the Houthis, but you think they are going to defeat Iran? The United States lost to the Taliban. They lost to the Viet Cong. They failed to remove communism from the Korean Peninsula. Americans haven't coped with the fact that we haven't won a war in the modern era. Americans got upset when they saw fellow Americans come back home in a body bag during the Iraq war. What do you guys think the Iran war is going to look like? And I'm not going to mourn any American who is dumb enough to sign up and die fighting another Israeli war.
What's poppin', my friends, my family? We are back with an RBN breaking live. We knew it was going to happen. This is a horrible day for humanity. This is a stain on Donald Trump's legacy. This is a stain on MAGA. Because I hope you guys are ready to fight and die, MAGA cut. I hope you guys are ready to enlist. Like, if you vote for Donald Trump, if you support Zionism, I hope you're ready to enlist and die and fight for Israel, you cuck. Once again, that's exactly what's going to happen. Donald Trump should have treated Benjamin Netanyahu the same way he treated Zelensky. The fact that he didn't, the fact that MAGA enables Israel, the fact that Zionists and the Likud war criminals saw the United States put sanctions on the International Criminal Court to protect the war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu. The MAGA Republican, the Zionist, Christian Zionist cucks in the House invited Netanyahu in Congress and gave him a round of applause every 10 seconds. So this is a MAGA war. Just another failure of Donald Trump. Failed to stop the Ukraine war, failed to stop the genocide in Gaza, failed to stop the Iran war. Aren't you guys embarrassed? Donald Trump said he didn't want Israel to attack Iran. What happened, MAGA? Donald Trump said he was going to work on a peace deal. So there's a lot of ways we can analyze this story, because I'm not ruling out the idea that the United States helped out Israel with these targeting, because Israel has done a lot of damage, apparently. Like, we are still in the fog of war, but there's still a possibility that Donald Trump is 100% complicit, and I think this is what I'm more leaning towards, that the United States is giving targeting information. But let's go with the kayfabe. You know what I mean? There's a few ways we can analyze the story. If we go with the kayfabe, here it is. U.S. told Israel it won't participate in an Israeli strike. In the kayfabe, the story they want you to believe. And I'm putting this out there because I'm not saying it's not true, But to me, my position is, I think this is political theater. United States is helping them with targeting. They're helping them with defense systems. They're helping them with AI. They're helping them wage war, period. And it will never stop. They are censoring Americans, and they're planning to throw Americans into fucking black sites prison cells because they're willing to call out the Israeli war machine. Is that the action of someone who's willing to disengage from the Middle East? You had Pete Hegseth. He just took money that the United States sent to Ukraine, and he said we got to redirect it to the Middle East. If Donald Trump wasn't down for the Ukraine war, why is he moving resources from the Ukraine war to the Middle East, preparing for the war with Iran? If Donald Trump wasn't prepared for the war with Iran, why is he increasing the military budget to $1 trillion, my brother Jaybe? What's popping?
Mm-hmm.
If Donald Trump happened, why is he increasing the military budget to $1 trillion, my friends? Why are they panicking about military recruitment if they want if we want an era of peace?
Mm-hmm.
There's reasons why we predicted that Donald Trump was going to be another empire puppet. This is another MAGA war. And I better see every single person who have MAGA pins on their truck enlist and fight and die in this war that you guys supported and enabled.
Yep.
We're not going to die fighting for Israel. And if you let your children die fighting for Israel, you are a failure of a human being. If you're a United States soldier, and if you're going off another land because you want free college, Jaybe, they want free healthcare. I want to kill people overseas because I want to get ahead in life. Don't judge me. I'm a United States soldier. If you go over in Iran and you try to kill people because you want free college, I'm going to laugh at your stupid ass when you come back in a body bag. I don't give a fuck. Like, this is crazy. Do you guys understand how crazy this is? Everyone should be at my level. That's why I had to go live today, because everyone should be at this level right now. We should have a full-fledged war against Zionism and Israel for striking Iran, for plunging the world into never-ending war. Why aren't Americans upset that Benjamin Netanyahu told your ass that we're going to war no matter what? He putting out statements in English. Why is Netanyahu giving statements in English, my friends? Because he's talking to your ass. He's telling you're a goy ass to go on the battlefield and die for Israel once again. And Americans going to fall for it because they too worried about trans people in bathrooms, trans people in sports, as they send their children out to die, fighting for a Zionist genocidal psychopaths, and everyone not on the same level I'm at. What's popping, Jaybe? we got my brother Jaybe gonna join us today. We cooking tonight. What's popping, brother?
So I was busy making some homemade buffalo wings in my air fryer, and then next thing you know, this story drops.
Yeah,
I couldn't even enjoy my buffalo wings because this genocidal maniac decided to strike Iran. Meanwhile, he's also going to be putting in the crosshairs Iranian Jews. Yes, there are Jewish people in Iran. And so now you're putting their lives at risk too. So it goes to show that when it comes to Zionism doesn't care about Jewish people. It never was about Jewish people. It was always about settler colonialism to really do the bidding of what the United States and the corporations really want. The corporations in the United States want to just take over the world in order to own the resources for the very small few who actually run this.
I've been hearing some people saying this recently, but do you guys know, and I love my anti-Zionist Jewish brothers and sisters, we know that obviously Jewish people are not responsible for the actions of Israel. We all know that. But do you guys know that 99% of Jewish institutions are supporting the genocide against the Palestinians? Are we supposed to ignore that? Why are we ignoring that? To support their feelings? Can you imagine if 99% of black churches, can you imagine if 99% of Muslims supported a genocide of Jewish people, how people would grill these people? They grill Muslim people over shit that's not even their fault. They grill them over fucking CIA program terrorists. CIA ops, they're like, you gotta condemn Al-Qaeda. Why? That's CIA. But that's what they tell Muslims. Every Muslim got to condemn radical terrorist groups. Meanwhile, 99% of Jewish institutions support the Israeli genocide. And I'm being I think some people say it's more like 100%. So if the Jewish institutions, and this is not me making this about religion or anything, this is just a statement of life. This has nothing to do with your ideology. But if you, as a Jewish institution, are not coming out and condemning Israel's actions, and we know it's the exact opposite. Every single one of these Jewish institutions are going to condone and praise Israel striking Iran and plunge us to war. What does that say about them? What does that say about Judaism that is forever scarred for plunging the world into never-ending war and conflict? And this is the entire world to Iran right now. And what's going to love my anti-Zionist Jewish brothers and sisters, but just having an uncomfortable conversation with their genocide-supporting family members, that's not going to cut it anymore. You know what I mean? I cut people out of my life for way less than that, Jaybe. I cut people out of my life for way less than supporting burning children alive. I cut out people in my life for way less than starving people to death and supporting that. You know, we just have a few uncomfortable conversations. You need to do more than that, sir. Eating dinner with these psychopaths, supporting bombing Iran, and sending our people to fight and die in these wars. Sorry, guys, it's late night. I'm not completely sober, but you know, we gotta cover this live breaking stream. We both wasn't prepared, but I had a lot of thoughts. This is one of them live streams where I would have been up all night covering this shit, no matter what. I had thoughts bouncing in my head because the implications of this is astounding. I can't even begin. I'm sorry to take up a lot of time, Jaybe, but I can't even begin to break down the implications of this. Because as I explained, sorry, Jaybe, go ahead. Feel free. I don't want to take too much. Go ahead, brother.
Well, I'm thinking about, you know, people like Professor Morandi that's in Iran right now. He's in Tehran. You know, you had Max Blumenthal that just came back from Iran and actually was witnessing how peaceful and how, you know, free many Iranians are, you know, within the country. And so, you know, for this narrative to be painted that Iran's some terrorist sympathizing nation really is just years of propaganda that has been fed to us, especially since the early 2000s because of the whole war on terror, basically saying that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction and, you know, basically going up against Iran and calling them part of the axis of evil and things like that. So you're seeing well over 20 years of propaganda that have come to a head. And unfortunately, some people are going to say, well, you know, I mean, Israel has been fighting alongside us, so I guess this was justified. When in reality, it wasn't. Because, you know, and Sabby was live talking about this a little bit earlier. But the question is, you know, where is Iran occupying Israel? In what part? Please point to me. If that's the case, if Iran's not occupying Israel, then why in the hell is Israel striking Iran at their capital right now?
Killing civilians. Remember, there's a lot of fog of war shit, so I gotta be careful. And I gotta be careful what I show on screen because any like fake clips, and there are a lot. And on X, there are people who like take fake clips and they're like, "This is what's going on." They try to go viral. They'll post like an attack from like 2013, and that got me fucked up before because I accidentally show it. So I gotta be very careful. But I've seen early reports, so I'm going with word of mouth, and I'm gonna show you guys some things I see on. We're gonna look at some breaking news as we go live here as well. But I've seen civilian deaths. There are reports of children dying. There are reports of Iranian officials dying. So remember, when Iran attacks Israel, when Houthis attack Israel, they attack military structures, strategic positioning. This is textbook Israel going after civilians. Remember, my friends, Iran has the right to defend itself. And Iran fucked up, man. I said this What did I say? I will try and be careful because I didn't want to sound like I'm ever ruling for war because this is tragic. But what have I told you guys? I told you guys Iran destroyed their deterrence. Iran and Russia need to be praised by all of humanity. Do you guys know how much restraint Iran and Russia has shown when the United States has crossed Russia's red line over and over and over again? When Russia said, oh my God, we're going to have a nuclear war if you admit Sweden and Finland and NATO. And the West was like, you pussy, you ain't going to do shit. You ain't going to do shit. And then they let Sweden and Finland go to NATO, despite Russian demands. And then Putin and Russia, they was like, holy fuck, what the hell? These people are crazy. Then they had to backtrack. The same with China. Remember when Nancy Pelosi went to Taiwan? And then Xi Jinping, and that's like the most saber rattling I've ever seen that came from China because they was like, hey, I swear to God, hey, homie, I swear to God, if Nancy Pelosi take 1 foot on Taiwanese soil, it's all my nigga, it's all my nigga. But she went there, and then China, the same reaction they have that Putin had, they was like, these motherfuckers are crazy. We wasn't serious. We don't want to start World War III. We were just saying that so you have a reason to back down. But you guys did it anyway because the United States and the West, they are crazy. And China and Russia have been forced to back down over and over and over again. If that was ran by Henry Kissinger's, we would have been in nuclear war, JB. Can you imagine if Russia was ran by Hillary Clinton's?
Oh.
And now they do the same thing to Iran, bombing Iran, messing with Iran. And then Iran has been restrained, and the restraint had caused them to lose deterrence. But go ahead, JB. I know you want to chime in. I have my mind right now tonight. You know?
Yeah, well, I have a question for you, and I want to get your thoughts on this timeline. How long do you think before Iran does a direct response to Israel?
Dude, I think they could do something right now. I've seen a lot of early reports. I gotta be careful, but you gotta see a lot of Iranian accounts are saying that they are all in now because they've been pretty restrained. You guys gotta remember though, as I said before, Russia and China and Iran are really restrained and they're very tactical. Just like Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela, they always choose to de-escalate. So that's always a possibility. But it's not going to happen because Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel and the Likud, they know that this war has to happen right now. Why does it happen right now, my friends? I explained it many times before. Because the Israeli settler colonial project is in danger. Things need to go right now. You have the international community that is rallying behind a Palestinian state that likes we've never seen before. We had Europe supporting the Palestinian state. We had a global majority supporting the Palestinian state. We even have MAGA Republicans supporting Palestine now. And then you have BDS that is growing internationally because of the genocide, the likes we've never seen before. We have Ansar Allah that is destroying Israeli economies. We have the Israeli settlers that are fleeing in mass, which is causing a drain in the economy. You have a large portion of their young population that is being forced to be drafted into war, which means they are not contributing to the economy. This has led to around 50,000 businesses closing within the first few months of the war, and things has only gotten worse. They were not telling you guys this in corporate news. Why do you guys think they need this war in Iran right now, JB? I told you guys. Everything that I've been covering, I've been preparing you guys for this exact moment. Everything I've been covering been leading up to this. Israel wouldn't be doing all this crazy shit and risking their colony if things was going well. They see the United States going against their wishes, going on the kayfabe, negotiating with Iran. They see Europe going against them. Now Europe is anti-Semitic. The international courts, they're anti-Semitic. College students are anti-Semitic. Lula is anti-Semitic. China is anti-Semitic. Putin. So you guys see how the game, they can't keep playing this game forever? Bro, now they're attacking Iran. Now they're fucked. Now we got a whole generation of Americans who fucked because we had Zionists who infiltrated our society that's going to send young people out to die because of Zionists and because of Israel's tactical blunders, my friends. You guys, I've been covering this extensively for months now, leading up to this moment. And I told you guys every single step of the way how Israel became more desperate every single second. They are bleeding money. The tourism industry in Israel is dead forever. Guys, it's dead forever. You guys know what that means? There are settlers in Israel that are never going back. They already said they're going to Europe and they're never going back. I'm going to show you guys the article I'll show you guys. European Jews. There's an article I read before. Because essentially a way they were trying to spin Israelis fleeing Israel. There was an article where it said Israeli Jews are going to Europe to rejuvenate the Jewish population. So essentially that's your way of saying Israelis are fleeing the failed project. You got Israelis going back to New Jersey, JB. I need to show you guys some receipts, but goddamn, I can do this show without receipts. I got 1,000 thoughts for this. This is crazy. I gotta show you guys this Netanyahu speech. I'm gonna show some stuff from Hotspot. But James, do you have anything you want to add? I need to show some comments because you guys cracking me up in the comments. I've seen a few of them.
Yeah, I heard the speech from Benjamin Netanyahu, and I find it ironic that he, number one, he's speaking in English, right? Number two, he also tries to invoke what the Bible says, and meanwhile, he completely misses a lot of what was said in the Torah, which was basically the first 5 books of the Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Basically talking about that you must love your neighbor as yourself, and these neighbors who have actually are advocating for the weakest and the most disenfranchised among them, because it was Israel who created them to be weak and disenfranchised in the first place because of the Nakba in 1948. And so when you evoke something like that, really you're twisting the scriptures to fit your own narrative, similar to what slaveholders did to our people back, in this the 17th and 18th and 19th century. And so, what is different between a slaveholder in the United States and Israel when it comes to their evoking the scriptures, right? It doesn't make any sense to me. And so really they're behaving as if they are the Antichrist now, because they are doing these horrible things to a disenfranchised indigenous people of the land. And now they're starting fights every single place that they can within the Middle East because they want to grow their borders. And so when you look at, imaginary states like Israel, it just goes to show that, you cannot, they're not going to win. The reason being is because if something doesn't belong to you, you're not going to defend it to the death. Look how many Israelis are fleeing right now because the land was never theirs in the first place. If somebody steals something and if their life is on the line, they're going to ditch that the minute that they can so that they can preserve themselves alive, right? Here you have Palestinians that are literally willing to fight for their land to the death, meaning it's been their land for generations upon generations. So now you have, Israelis that are going back, to Germany, and they're going back to Spain and England and New York and Boca Raton, and it's crazy how they sit there and they claim to love this land, but they're not willing to fight for it. They literally have to conscript their own people into military service to force them to fight for a land that really, that they stole.
Yep. I'm just looking at a lot of the reactions here, and this is what I said earlier. I was breaking down the kayfabe presentation of this story, but I believe it will come out that the United States helped Israel with this and intel. I think the United States is 100% on board with this, because we are at RBN. We are of the belief. We don't believe that Israel has secretly invaded United States society. We understand that Israel is a settler colonial project of the West. The United States and Israel is one of the same. my friends. You guys understand? That's why they really do believe you're anti-American if you're against Israel. That's why this anti-Semitic crackdown doesn't make sense to us, but it makes sense to them because they really do view Israel as part of the United States. They view it as America.
Yeah.
So that's how we analyze it. So that's why I'm not so prone to believe the Netanyahu Trump split, because I understand the fundamental aspects of what drive the United States and Israel relationship. It's a coordinated, giant interweb machine of Zionists and empire. But I guess we should cover something a little bit more official. I was going just through a few more tweets, and we will continue to do that. Jaybe, do you have any thoughts? I'm sorry, my friend. Any thoughts you have before I continue?
Yeah, I'm just reading this, but as you were showing Donald Trump, Donald Trump ran on being a peace candidate. Well, that's all over now.
Oh yeah,
anybody who basically said, "Oh, Donald Trump's going to be a peace candidate or he's going to end these wars," you might want to rethink that now, because look at what he's doing. He's standing by while Benjamin Netanyahu is doing this. I don't see Donald Trump in the wee hours of the morning getting Benjamin Netanyahu on the phone and saying, "You need to stop this." It's not going to happen because I'm gonna say it like this, and people get mad at me for this, whatever. But Trump doesn't have the balls to do it.
Yeah.
Because his billionaire cronies who pay him, like an Elon Musk, they don't want it to happen. So therefore, Donald Trump is going to be like a good little lapdog, and he's going to do exactly what the billionaire owners want him to do, just like Biden.
Cook, my brother. Remember, he married his daughter off to a Zionist as well. You guys thought he was going to oppose the Zionist lobby. People talk about Mary and Alderson. They always wine and dine and pay each other. He got blood. He married his daughter to a Zionist who always wanted to take Gaza. You guys thought he was going to deviate on Israel? Does anyone know if this is true? I'm being very careful with that report because we're in the fog of war. I already seen a lot of bullshit tweeted today. So I gotta be they're allegedly one of the Iran chief of staff. Apparently I would just say they're government officials that was allegedly harmed in this strike. I seen pictures allegedly of civilians being struck. I'm not showing it on stream because once again I can't verify if it's one. I don't want to get in trouble, and I gotta do my due diligence. I allegedly, and there's a lot of on the ground reporting of mass civilian damage right now.
Yeah. But also look at it like, what's the population of Israel? Is somewhere north of 9 million,
and it's less than this now.
Yeah,
yes. You had thousands of settlers that fled. I did many stories about this. I can't shut up about it. And then you had many IDF that was snuffed out, and Israel was still sneaky about the numbers. They always lying about the numbers. So this number is way less, by the way. But go ahead, James.
But think about it. I mean, Iranians outnumber Israelis 10-1.
And they have advanced weaponry.
Yes.
Ballistic missiles, advanced defense, and they got a massive terrain advantage that have gave the Persian Empire's defensive capabilities for centuries. They're very mountainous. They got gulfs that they control that you got enter. Like literally just entering Iran is like damn near impossible. So Americans that think that this is going to be Iraq, you're delusional. This is nothing like Iraq. Like they got natural terrain defenses, a well-trained militia, well-armed militia that have been building up for years. Mm-hmm. And these people are fighting for their sovereignty, for the respect of for Muslims, for the region, and they're fighting against who? A bunch of fake soldiers who want free college? People who only sign up for the military because they want health care? The United States don't create warriors. We have the poverty drive. So people sign up to join the military just because we want college, just because they want health care, because they want to make it in life, so they choose to be a mercenary. So you have these fucking suburbanites in the military playing dress up. You got these suburbanites playing dress up in an officer uniform, think he's a badass. Because there was a lot of fucking crazy wars that was fought before in Europe, in America in the 1800s. But these generations, they're not warriors. Why do you think we lost every single war in the modern era? We lost to the Taliban. We lost to the Viet Cong. We had the goal to rid communism from the Korean Peninsula, and North Korea is still going strong. What does that say? JB. Let me read this headline. I'll pass it to you, JB. Sorry. Despite trillions spent, the United States hasn't won a real war since 1945. Tell me one time where we accomplished our objective geopolitically. The only thing we have seen in war is what? United States soldiers coming back in body bags. United States soldiers coming back with PTSD. And now we have 22 veterans that killed themselves per day. And then you got people seeing the Star Spangled Banner, God bless America, as veterans are blowing their head off because they got dominated in the war. And the only time Americans do anything is when they commit war crimes. Then they get a PTSD for committing war crimes. They come back, we don't take care of them. And then people are not mad at the system for doing that to the veterans. They're mad at me for calling it out. Sorry, JB. I had a lot to say today. Anything you want to add?
My question is like, yes, Iran has top-notch capabilities, but also would it be any surprise if Yemen joins to help defend Iran? You know,
dude, I hope the world joins, but I don't know, man. I really hope.
But this really is leading into World War III. I mean, Benjamin Netanyahu is walking us into World War III. And the thing is like, I forgot who was talking about it, but someone said that the United States, all the military conflicts that the United States is engaged in was always with countries that were weaker than the United States.
Exactly.
And even then, they couldn't actually win. So now you have countries that are, basically it's like pick on somebody your own size. And now somebody their own size is like, okay, what's up? And the United States, Israel can't defend against it. The United States is going to have a hard time defending against them. So it's really going to be, how many of us are going to have to suffer because of, this imaginary state that is continuing to try to grow beyond its borders for the sake of corporate interests.
Dude, the timeline's crazy right now, man. I don't know what's real. There's so much footage going on right now. We gotta be very careful what we cover because things are escalating live right now. This is a good take for our friend Glenn Greenwald. We just had him on a few weeks ago. Make sure you gotta check out the conversation I had with Glenn. If Trump had wanted to stop Israeli attack on Iran, he could have easily. Israel depends on money from United States workers, bomb from United States stockpiles, and promises the United States military protection. Absolutely on point, Glenn. I think me and Glenn, we just talked about this like 2 weeks ago. we explained, to me, I never bought this fucking breakup. Okay, if Donald Trump and Netanyahu is breaking up, arrest Netanyahu then. He's a criminal wanted by the ICC. Instead of arresting Netanyahu, they put sanctions on the international court, JB, and they talking about some fucking beef. Get the fuck out of here. People Donald Trump is literally cracking down on Americans. Free speech. He's calling Americans terrorists. And then people talking about, oh my God, I think he's breaking up with Israel. No, he's attacking our free speech rights on their behalf. As MAGA is in coat mode, talking about how he's breaking up with Israel. Be real. Get real. And now this is another Trump war because he was weak. The argument that Trump made was that the reason why Putin invaded Ukraine was because Biden was weak and enabled it. Remember how Donald Trump said that over and over again? So based on his logic, and I think this is 100% true, because you have Mike Huckabee as the United States ambassador to Israel, who has his tongue deep up Netanyahu's ass every single day. So of course they enabled the war. So if you think you're a patriot, God bless America, you better stand for the flag. You better enlist. Because Netanyahu is telling you, get in the box, homie. Get in the box. If you don't get in the box, you're anti-Semitic, JB. Get in the box right now, MAGA. You stupid goy. Get
Now
in
you
the
got to
box.
be thinking about the movie
This is what
Seven.
Netanyahu
What's in the
said.
box?
Sorry, go ahead, JB.
Now you got to be thinking about the movie Seven when he's like, "What's in the box?"
I want to find that meme. Get in the box when you're anti-Semitic. You guys want to cover something official? I haven't seen this. We watching everything live, so I haven't seen this. This is his speech in English. Ask yourself why he's doing this in English. He's telling you to get in the box, my friends. So let's listen to him. I'm reacting to this live.
Can't hear it.
Can't hear it.
No.
All right. Good looking. You know, sometimes it glitches. Sometimes. I'll just fix it. Good looking, JB. It always works for me, so I never know unless someone tells me.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to
Can you hear it, JB?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed.
So I'm only going to respond to this. I'm going to let it play for a bit so you guys can get some news. Give me a little time to take a little drink here as well. But I'm going to let it play. But Iran is literally negotiating with the United States for a deal that doesn't even make sense for them. So how can you say Iran, just going based on kayfabe, how can you say Iran don't want peace when you're the state that is furious over peace talks? Sir, you have Iran calling for ceasefires. How can Zionists say that Iran is the threat and the offensive party when they've been calling for negotiations and for peace? How are people not offended by these Zionist lies? Anyway, I'm gonna let it play. JB, do you have anything else you want to add? I'm gonna let it play for a bit, just so you guys get some news. Give me a second, get some more receipts. I'm gonna let it play for a bit. I'll be right back.
Backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival. 80 years ago, the Jewish people were the victims of a Holocaust perpetrated by the Nazi regime. Today,
All right, I'll quit. Can you guys go longer than that? That's my limit. I'm done. I feel like there's no more value. Do you guys want to see it? I'm looking at the chat. I don't want to see it no more.
Yeah.
All right, there's so many lies. There's no point even playing this bullshit. Like, how many times has this motherfucker said Iran was about to get a bomb, JB? How many times?
They said it many times over the years.
I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. I personally couldn't do it. Like, this shit was too hard. JB, sorry. Any response?
Well, no. I know for context sake, that's the only reason why I would let it keep playing. But Benjamin Netanyahu is insufferable as he is. I'm going to say something, and some people may disagree, and that's okay. But I find it funny how Benjamin Netanyahu is talking about Iran getting one nuclear weapon when Israel, they themselves are a nuclear power.
Exactly. And
if you are oppressing other groups, especially more disenfranchised groups, or causing them to be disenfranchised, you do not have a say in how they defend themselves. So therefore, if Iran wants to have a nuclear weapon, then okay. The thing is like states like Israel and the United States must disarm themselves in order to prove to the world that they would never use a nuclear weapon on a civilian population. The United States already ruined that the minute they got their hands on a nuclear weapon. Just ask the people of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So therefore, you know, if the United States is willing to use a nuke on a civilian population, you damn sure know that Israel would do it too if they could. And they're escalating to get to that point. They're just upset because they're in fear of Iran doing the thing that they would do. And even though Iran has proven themselves to be, they've been very restrained, extremely restrained in their actions.
Yeah, I can't
So,
emphasize that enough, man.
Yeah, Israel is really just scared of Iran giving them the same energy that they've given. That's what they're afraid of. And that's why this preemptive attack has happened, because Israel flinched. They flinched. And now they just gave Iran the go-ahead to counterpunch. Now, if I was within, the Knesset, or if I was part of Netanyahu's cabinet, I would say, you damn idiot. What in the hell are you doing? You just
they're in the White House meeting, by the way.
You gave them free reign to counterpunch us because you decided to hit first.
Remember, my friend, Iran has the right to defend themselves. This is not a criticism of Iran at all, but they lost deterrence because of their weakness. That's not a criticism. I'm just telling you a fact. Because Iran didn't wipe Tel Aviv off the map, because that would be devastating. There's devastating consequences to that. They know that. And they are peace-loving people. They didn't want a nuclear weapon. But Israel has given them no choice, and because they lack deterrent, that's why Israel feel emboldened to do this. I found this tweet from Aaron Monte looking at some tweets on my timeline. And I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna play the speech in parts because this is a pretty big speech. So I'll play it in parts, I guess, because I guess it's very important to cover. Because you got to see a lot of people are covering this speech. It's very important. Like, this is the head of state of a guy who started a massive regional war. So it is very newsworthy, even though we hate it. So I will play a little bit more of it if you guys don't mind. But here's Aaron Monte's take. In a live-field speech touting his attack on Iran, Netanyahu just thanked President Trump. All right, let's watch the video. Let's see when he gets to that. But this is exactly what I meant when I said this is because of Donald Trump's weakness. One more other tweet I want to play as I go back to the video. And I may find more receipts as I let the video play. But this is our friend Asar Rod. And this is a great point, because there's a lot of damage in residential buildings. I thought Israel was going to attack nuclear facilities, JB.
Oh, we all know that that's not going to happen.
You guys notice how Israel is? They are obsessed, and this is their strategy. And this is why I condemn the West for allowing them to get away with this. They forever rewritten the rules of war. Like bombing hospitals, they now normalized. Bombing residential buildings, they now normalized. Like when Israel bombed the first hospital, everyone was shocked and aghast. Then they lied about it. Now they bomb so many hospitals, no one even flinches anymore. And then Donald Trump started a war against the Houthis, which he lost. But you want to know what he did? He bombed a hospital in Yemen. Donald Trump bombed a hospital in Yemen, and it was barely newsworthy. Think about that, JB. Donald Trump bombed a hospital, and it was barely newsworthy. Why do you think that is? This is the direct consequence of Jewish supremacy and Zionism waging war against international law and corroding and morally decaying Western moral values to the point where they can bomb hospitals and people don't flinch. And there's studies that can be done, but this is why there's mass shootings in the United States. We bomb hospitals, we kill Arabs, we bomb Africa, we implement all this violence throughout the world, and then Americans come be like, oh my God, I can't believe there are still shootings. Why is our society so violent, Jaybe? And they committing genocide? Oh, what, you really don't know why, dumbass? They genocided Native Americans, wondering why there's this violent curse over this land. Right, Jaybe? Sorry, go ahead. Jaybe, anything you want to add? I'll go bring you back to the Netanyahu video.
Yeah, it's as if how you start is how you finish, right?
Yeah, let's play a little bit more of the video. Jaybe, can you believe we're already 45 minutes in? So I guess I'll plan for an hour. Cause I was planning on going 30 minutes, but hey, man, sometimes you just gotta cook, you know. Sometimes you just gotta say fuck it and cook. Let's play a little more of this video, and I'll react live to it. This is pretty big news, so I had to play it. Let me read some super chats. Do you guys think Iran will shut down the Strait of Hormuz? I have a hard time predicting what Iran is going to do. Remember when, and this is why I'm being restrained, because when the first time Israel attacked Iran, I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, they about to fuck Israel will get fucked up, and then Iran de-escalated. They did pretty much a fireworks show over Tel Aviv, telegraphed it. It was a great act of statesmanship coming from Iran. It was a great way to save face, while at the same time giving Israel a way to de-escalate the situation. So I have no idea to answer your question. Thanks for $5 for Tuzo. The United States has spent years trying to disarm Iran just for they can arm Israel for this moment, which could lead us to World War III. Great job, America. All right, thank you for that super chat. If you guys enjoy us, please like and share this. We got like 2,600 people watching across X and YouTube right now. Make sure you guys like and share. Let's continue this video.
Years ago, the Jewish people were the victims of a Holocaust perpetrated by the Nazi regime. Today, the Jewish state refuses to be a victim of a nuclear Holocaust perpetrated by the Iranian regime. Now, as Prime Minister, I've made it clear time and again, Israel will never allow those who call for our annihilation to develop the means to achieve that goal. Tonight, Israel backs those words with action. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the...
Bro, you attacked residential buildings. They can't help but lie. They can't even talk about some evil shit they did without lying.
Yeah, and he also said that they're trying to stop Iran's Holocaust type of attack against Israel. Meanwhile, Israel is committing a Holocaust against Palestinians.
Like, as if that gives you... So this is what the Jewish supremacists really believe. They really believe that they are above international law. They use the Holocaust as a way to project that opinion out there, but they 100% believe they can use starvation as a tool of war. We are your Jewish masters. We are above you. Let's play a little bit more.
The heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program. Last year, Iran fired 300 ballistic missiles at Israel. Each of these missiles carries a ton of explosives and threatens the lives of hundreds of people.
Threatens the lives? Or taking the lives? Isn't it interesting, Jaybe, how the enemies of Israel always threaten their lives? Isn't it interesting how the Palestinians, they always chant stuff? Meanwhile, the West actually kills people. It's the same thing stupid-ass Americans say. Dumb-ass Americans, they'll say some stupid shit like this. They'll say, don't you know that Palestinians, don't you know the Arabs, they say death to America, Jaybe. Don't you know they chant death to America? So it's bad that they chant death to America, but it's okay that you actually kill them. They just talking shit. They're like, man, y'all, fuck America. We don't like you. You guys are murdering their children. You guys comparing them, just talking shit. That's the psychotic behavior. And that's what he's doing. Oh, Iran is threatening Israel. You attacked and murdered Iranian citizens. I saw this from Hotspot. I'm finding receipts as we go live here. CNN confirms Israeli strike eliminated all Iranian general staff. Asterisk, according to IDF intel. But it's a possible claim. But you guys see how they are taking Iranian life. Israel takes life as the enemies of Israel. They just threaten life. They go after military facilities. The Houthis go after military sites. They engage in blockades strategically to harm the economy instead of killing civilians. The Palestinians engaged in BDS, Jaybe, a nonviolent protest aimed at going after Israeli businesses instead of engaging in violence. And you know what they call them? They call them anti-Semitic. Even when they engage in nonviolence, as Israel and Zionists are just blowing people's head off their shoulders. Jaybe, anything you want to add? We can wrap up at an hour. We only got 10 minutes because
I'm good.
Christ, so much to cover. I see another super chat. Let me read the super chat. When he said the word Bible, he was talking to Christian Zionists. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Netanyahu directly speaks to Zionists.
And can I address the Christian Zionists directly, please?
Yes, sir.
As a former evangelical,
speak to him.
Shame on you for
him.
siding with a genocidal state. Shame on every single one of you for standing by while you have this state murder and kill the people who are related ancestors of your very Savior. Shame on you. Because you sit there and you will let this demigod invoke the Bible in inaccurate ways.
Oh, that's so pathetic. It's so pathetic.
You know what? Let me go back into my evangelical
cook these motherfuckers, baby.
Quick 1 second.
Cook their ass.
Do you know who also quoted the Bible and knew the Bible very well? Satan himself. When Jesus walked the wilderness for 40 days, right? And then Satan approaches him and he said, "Is it not written?" He went according to what the Bible was saying, but he was twisting the words. What do you think Benjamin Netanyahu's doing right now? And yet you're siding with them?
Yes, sir.
Baby, you're not going to be going through them pearly gates if you're going to be siding with Benjamin Netanyahu. Trust and believe that. Sitting there on the side of death and destruction is anti-Christian, right? So therefore, you all are false prophets. You're no different than the scribes and Pharisees that actually killed Jesus. You're no different than them. And so you're sitting there talking about, oh my God, well, we got to side with Israel, when in reality, they're the ones who are doing the murdering and the pillaging of people. And you're siding with that.
Cook their ass, Jaybe. They're bombing Christians, guys.
They bombed your brothers and sisters. And you're still going to stand with them?
Can you imagine? Can you imagine calling yourself a Christian, someone who loves God? You're a man of God, and you are spilling blood on your holy land? For what? And you're spilling the blood of Christians on behalf of genocidal Jewish people? A lot of them who are not even religious? Like, you guys see how batshit crazy this is? Like, you have people like Donald Trump who are Christians who are calling peace-loving Jewish people, Jaybe. There are Jewish people who are protesting against the genocide. So guys, think about how crazy this is. You have a Christian calling Jewish people anti-Semitic because they don't support the Christian and the Jewish people bombing the Muslims and the Christians in the Holy Land. Do you guys see how crazy that is?
They're not even going according to the Bible. Look, hold up. Wait.
Feel free to share your
Galatians, wait, hold up. Galatians chapter 3, verse 28. There is neither Jew nor Greek. There's neither slave nor free man. There is neither male nor female, for all you are one in union with Christ Jesus. So therefore, if that's the case, then why are you killing your brothers and sisters who you're supposed to be in union with Christ? Therefore, you are unchristian. You are not in union with Christ. Therefore, it sounds pretty anti-Christ to me. And so that's the point, man. Is that they have allowed propaganda to hit them in the heart so much that it caused them to go against their very savior. It's crazy, man. It's wicked.
I told you guys, there's no intellectual, there's no legal, or there's no religious or spiritual legitimate argument for the state of Zionism and state of Israel. If you guys are interested, Kwame Ture did a great lecture where he explained how Christian pastors was brainwashed. No, I wouldn't say brainwashed. That's actually a bad word for it. They was willingly corrupted by Zionist agents so they can preach false gospel that have brainwashed an entire generation of white evangelicals. You want to know what's funny, guys? They just now realized it. They're like, holy fuck, we just now realized. Like people like Nick Fuentes and them, the Jake Shields of they like, holy fuck, we did not realize our entire life is a lie. Like the entire Christian community we grew up with, they actually Zionist agents the entire time. But these are the last receipts I show. You have Republicans who oppose Americans protesting against Israel. And remember, at the end of the day, because we've seen Muslim Zionist traitors like Jolani in Syria. You have the king of Jordan and a lot of these people, all these Muslim Zionist enablers in the Middle East who support the Zionist state. A lot of people like all these people in Saudi Arabia, all these big Muslim business people who do business with Israel, they Muslim Zionists. They love the status quo. They help Israel exist because they oppose Hamas. They hit Hamas. Like Al-Qaeda, ISIS, like all these like Muslim Brotherhood extremists. They hate Hamas because they support Zionism. So guys, understand that it's an entire imperialist system. It's not just about the Jews. So we have very nuanced approaches because we can understand that. Well, at the same time, like, hey, bro, there are a lot of Jewish institutions supporting this shit, and we need you guys to condemn it. You know what I mean? But you guys see how all these religious hucksters, this is a whole nother stream we can do about how they use religion to control people, but that's a whole nother conversation. But you guys see how these religious hucksters, they brainwash the proletariat, they brainwash their followers to support whatever the empire wants, whatever the ruling class want, and they use religion to justify it. The same way that old English kings will use the Pope politically back in the day. You have kings of old that would use the Pope to approve political marriages. They will use the Pope to trick the masses into supporting their holy war. That's the same thing we're seeing today. We have an entire generation that boomers and Gen X were brainwashed by false prophets and churches and synagogues and a lot of these Muslims that preach cooperation. Oh, we too weak. Anyway, we're an hour in. I'm glad you guys enjoyed my lecture tonight. Big shout out to Blueser. This is the first time I see you in the chat, and you got some big love tonight. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is the first time I'm seeing this person in the chat, right? But big love to Blueser.
Yeah,
right?
They've contributed definitely before. They've been a staple in the chat for a long time.
Okay, I'm talking then. Yeah. Okay, big shout out to them though. Big shout out to them. Jaybe, any final thoughts? I want to keep this an hour because it's late.
Yeah.
I'm pretty stoned. I'm tired.
Of course.
But anyways, any final thoughts?
Sure. Yeah. Just, when it comes to, standing by with people who want true liberation, make sure to stand by people who are fighting for that liberation. Make sure that you, try to protect the people who are the most marginalized among you, because those usually are always the first victims, and they're the canary in the coal mine. And if they do it to them, they're going to come for you next. So it's just remember what Normalier, I forgot his last name, but anyways, he said first they came for the communists, for I did not speak out, for I wasn't a communist. Then they came after the socialists, and then the trade unionists, and so on and so forth. So speak out and stand up for the people who are the most marginalized, because they're usually the first to go.
Very well said, JB. I'm glad you joined me tonight. It's always I'm always glad when you can join my streams, you can craft my streams. If you guys didn't check out, make sure you guys check out the Zionism and Jewish show. I'm trying to look at some chats. I'm mad I didn't watch a lot of chats because you guys are cracking me up. I'm enjoying the chats I have seen. I wish I could have read some more. I'm gonna read this. Make sure you guys follow Hotspot. I'm gonna read this because I think this is very newsworthy, and we will end the stream with this final tidbit. Israeli strikes hit at least 6 military bases around Tehran, including Parchin, as well as residential compounds tied to high-ranking military officials, in what senior Iranian officials described as targeted assassinations. I've seen that term a lot tonight. So Israel has been engaging in targeting assassinations of high-level Iranian officials. And for now, I will call it as true because I've seen multiple people report on it that the Iranian chief of staff was murdered. But I'm being extremely careful because we're in the fog of war. It's breaking news, but apparently, allegedly, we will see soon. But Israel is engaging in targeting assassinations, and they have done damage to the Iranian government and high-level officials. We will continue to follow it. Hopefully, you guys enjoy the stream. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. JB, what's going on? Any final thoughts from you? What's going on with you?
Nah, just make sure to support independent media, and thank you guys so much for tuning in.
All right, thank you guys. Have a good night. I'm gonna continue following this. I'll have another hotspot I'll release tomorrow. There's gonna be a lot to cover. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys support the Patreon, like, share, and subscribe if you're new. Have a good night, friends.